Hey folks, Van Kraken here. Welcome. See you there, Rich. Going to try to jump in here and say welcome to our, Friday night World of Warships Legends stream. I've been a little bit off the reservation. I had one stream earlier this week, but missed last weekend to take a family trip. So trying to get the rust off and the cobwebs out. A little late, got a little groggy, getting too warm and watching some Netflix. So, hey, it's time to play some Warships. I am Van Kraken, as I said. I was a World of Warships Legends alpha tester and also for your World of Warships PC player. So have a little bit to talk about with regard to both systems tonight before we get started. Appreciate everyone who comes in the stream, share some community, share some good times, some hopefully joint appreciation for World of Warships. I think that's in an interesting state for some people right now. I think it's feeling a little bit more like work on the PC side with some changes that have happened that we'll talk about in a second. And we have some changes coming on Legends soon too. I want to touch on that as well before we get started. So really quickly, a couple things. I'm going to pull up a picture of what's going on with Legends soon. And first I'm going to talk about PC. So if you play the PC side at all, there's some big changes that have been happening. There's been a whole revamp to the commander skill system, which makes it a little more similar on PC to the way it is on Legends. Now, every commander has a specialization by type of ship, by cruiser, CV, battleship, or destroyer. So it's kind of like mass chaos on the PC side today. I was listening to some of my favorite streamers, playing a few games this morning on my very basic account that only has 14 ships, and I probably have close to 250, 300 ships easily across my 3 PC accounts. Those all have attached commanders to them. So basically, every one of those ships needs to be respect. All the commanders need to be respect. And the skills, interestingly, are pretty similar to World of Warships Legends skills in some ways. There wasn't a lot of skills on PC where you got something and had to give up something else. Kind of like maybe equilibrium power now on cruisers where you get that higher HE penetration chance, but you give up chance of fire. That was one of the only skills that was similar on PC. Most of the skills on PC were all straight buffs to the performance of your ship, not a plus and minus. And they've incorporated a lot more of those types of skills, good and bad elements or positive, negative elements. And again, they completely changed the skill sets for each type of ship. So you can use the same commander and spec him for different types of ships. But he has to live in one ship and specialize in that ship to be most effective. So you can't really play one commander across multiple ships still like you can on Legends. But anyway, mass chaos to the point of one of my favorite streamers today just basically shutting down his stream about a half hour early, saying, "I'm done. I hope I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure." People were, I don't want to say pissed, but pretty dismayed that I think 5-year players on the PC side feel like they're brand new players because they're completely trying to learn how this new system's working, how to rebuild their ships even close to the way they like to play them. So anyway, very interesting on the PC side. Hey, Kennedy, hey, Rich, and hey, Goat. Good to see all you guys. Just talking a little bit about watching some of my favorite PC streamers today and just a few positive reviews of the skill changes on the commanders and the complete revamp of the system, but some complete, just I'd say mental breakdowns in a few cases of some of the streamers just being so upset about the changes. So lots of noise in the community contributor community right now on the PC side. So why do I bring that up with regard to Legends tonight? I saw this picture that ported over to my Discord from the feed that I get from the Legends feed. And yes, there was just a little picture of, I don't know what this is. This is like probably the tier 4 Japanese CV. Is that right? Or it's a British CV. I can't tell for sure. Maybe it's British. Looks more like a British than a Japanese plane, but I do not know the CVs well. No, it looks like a Japanese crest on the front, the flower. So Anyways, CVs are coming really soon. I'm assuming that's why this picture's here. I'm assuming they'd only put it there if they were ready to drop this in the next update. So yeah, I see the flower now, like the Yamato has on the front and some of the other Japanese BBs. So it's very interesting in that, you know, we've seen this big blow up on the PC side since Monday with the introduction of the new patch, and I think it's going to be a little bit similar on the Legends side. I think you're going to have some people who are feeling like complete fish out of water. Not everybody. We have great players in the chat here, like Kennedy and others, who'll jump in and figure it out and have a good attitude about it and make it work. And then you're going to have other people who are going to have absolute complete meltdowns. You'll probably see maybe 30% of the people walk away and take a break. I think you'll see a bunch of new players come in because they'll be excited to see some new gameplay elements that we didn't have before. But I think it's going to be kind of a hold on to your butts type of moment. It's going to be really interesting to see how people react to CVs and just bringing a completely new element and feel to the gameplay. So yeah, it's exciting, Kennedy. I mean, for me, CVs are old hat. I've been living with them for 4 years, but as I've said a bunch of times, I used to come over to Legends to get a break from CVs. So it's kind of interesting. It'll be now no room for escape. I think there's going to be some advantages on the Legends side still. We did not see rocket planes, for instance, in the early video. So rocket planes are kind of the biggest problem, I think, on CVs in PC right now, because they're really giving a lot of destroyers a hard time. Destroyers that don't have good AA, destroyers that have weak resistance to HE damage. It's really bad, but not all DDs. Some DDs are doing just fine with the current state of CVs on PC. But I'm with Kennedy. This is a repetitive game. It's more, I was described by the CEO of Wargaming, this is more like a hobby than a video game. You know, hobbies are things that you enjoy pursuing over time. I made a lot of scale models when I was a kid, including remote-controlled, gas-powered flying airplane or two. I spent hours and hours and hours doing that. I didn't get tired of it. Haven't started it back up as an adult, but if I did, I don't think I'd get tired of it again. And this game is kind of that way for me. I don't get tired of the repetitiveness of it. I just adapt and build out new lines, try new captain builds. All that stuff is fun for me. So the changes and evolution in the game, even though got on the PC side, again, just respecking the 300 odd commanders I have is going to take me hours. But in a way, I'm going to kind of sickly enjoy it just because it will bring something fresh and new to the game. And basically this is a reset to make those people who are tired of the way it is have momentary period of being really pissed off, but they're going to get over it and they're going to find, wow, this has probably refreshed and extended this game for a lot of people by probably 18 months to 2 years. And I think that's the way that Wargaming takes this, is the long view, not a short-term view. So anyway, Rich says, where Wargaming aren't ready to bring the carriers into the game until next year. They say they try, but it's not ready for Legends just yet. I think that was the statement they made before the December patch, because they were going to try to bring them in December, and I think they had to drop Big Mamie in instead. So I think they're really close to being ready. Honestly, I don't think we'd see this picture on here if it weren't very close. So anyway, God, someone remind me, it's a Ryuho? Is that what the lower, I don't know if it's a tier, this is going to be, I guess we'll be tier 3, 5, 7, most likely. So this is probably the tier 3, I'm guessing. So pretty damn interesting. Get ready. It's coming, I think. That's my guess anyway. So, all right. What are you guys all working on? I'm still working on the campaign. I'm sure multiple of you guys, I know Rich already has Massachusetts. Rich, have you got Massachusetts out into the water? Did you get a commander outfitted for her and some modules and go play that boat? How is it going? Kennedy, I'm sure you're done, especially with the kind of bonus reset of the missions we had. I am still, unfortunately, in endurance phase. I knocked out the first 2 portions of endurance. I'm on the 2.1 million credits, and then I have global XP, commander XP, and I think I just have to do the first 2 sections of the shakedown trials and I'll be done. So Good. How's it going? I saw a few reviews of people saying they really are enjoying Massachusetts on Legends, and I'll tell you, I played it a buttload on PC in the last 2 weeks because I used that ship almost exclusively with Scharnhorst to grind out the Tier 7 Strasbourg campaign on PC to get a free Tier 7. So goats with me, still grinding to do, but hey, you've got what, a week and a weekend, right? So you have the time. It's time to get it done. This is the one that I'm worried about. Well, not Grosser Kurfürst. I'm on the last phase of Grosser Kurfürst. I'm a little bit worried. That must just pop because I am ready to try to find what I can parlay against this. Do I have anybody I can just drop in right now just to get it started? A few things. This has been like a crock pot research bureau for me. I just have it on low, put it in the morning, let it cook all day, come back, check on it, stir it every couple hours. That's how I've been with Kurfürst. I'm not super excited about Kurfürst. By Tactic Angel. That's pretty funny, dude. That is pretty funny. I played a lot of AI games, co-op as they call it, on PC in Massachusetts because you needed to just get either a certain amount of damage or even fires, which the secondaries worked great, or kills. So I just ground a lot of I could grind an AI game in 5 minutes. So I could do a bunch per hour, and that was the quickest way for me to grind a bunch of the missions. So I ran probably, I kid you not, over 100 AI games in Massachusetts, and then probably another 25 standard battles. And I had some really, really, really fun games in the ship, so I'm ecstatic about getting it. But I will be patient. This is what I'm a little more worried about. I have to knock out some missions to get this Belfast badge thing done so I can get into the Scharnhorst camo is what I really want out of North Cape. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to finish it because I was gone. But anyway, kind of a bummer. We'll see. I'm going to try to get that done over the next week. Rich still not played Massachusetts. Busy with Star Trek Online. I'm using Willis Lee. Unlike the other battleships, he has Sims as commander. Yeah, I think Willis Lee will work. He has access to a couple secondary enhancing features like Porcupine, I think. I think that's on Lee. That will work. And Monk, you stuck with Sims? Yeah, I think Sims can work as well. So definitely want to enhance those secondaries. Like my Massachusetts commander that I have, it's on my newest PC account, but it's almost a completely different build, where you can't cross over commanders onto different ships. The way the build is for PC, it's almost like a completely different U.S. battleship commander build for that one ship versus any other U.S. battleship, except for maybe Georgia. And I got Georgia not long ago, but I've only been able to play 2 games in it. That's Tier 9 Massachusetts secondaries with only 6 guns. But you guys, if you've read about it all, it's the 6 guns of Georgia can do 3/4 the alpha strike of a Yamato. That's how powerful the guns are. She's pretty fun, and she's super fast. Most of the folks in Discord went Lee. I mean, I have Lee more spec'd out, so that's probably who I'll wind up trying in the beginning. Yeah, who is it? Monk, were you on me about containers? I opened 28 containers the other night. I will open more tonight. So I'm going to jump in first and just play Belfast because I need to get a win in Belfast and a win in Benson for sure. And I don't need ship XP anymore. What do we need? We need credits. 2.1 million credits. Probably do some Belfast and Atlanta potentially. I know I'm gonna work it down. I'm working down the pile. The thing is, man, I don't get excited about opening the blue crates in Legends. Like I said the other night, I really wish they'd give us a chance to earn some crates during the day of play and give us better crates that have a chance of dropping a ship or something than the free blue crate, which to me is just the least exciting thing ever. But We'll see. Maybe they'll change it up over time. Yeah, I'll have to jump on the Discord and check out the commander builds that people are using. I'm still like where I need to reassess a bunch of my commander builds anyway. I've just kind of done the set it and forget it on a lot of things. Lee all secondary 4 slot for Kennedy. We're around the plotting room. Gotta get the extended range. With increased a better dispersion. Cunningham and Von Hipper as inspirations. That's pretty smart. I had a hard time in the beginning with Massachusetts just kind of adapting to her main battery guns a little bit, being a lot more used to the Alabama, but after like 10 games I had it a lot more dialed in, and after all those AI games of just whomping bots, I mean, that's the one thing, man, it really does good for gunnery. You just get a really good feel for the gunnery, and secondly, it really helped me with just the turning, and that ship can turn on a freaking dime. I hope it's the same way in Legends, because she is so maneuverable. So you can go be full throttle and be about this far from an island and just completely cut it and turn and make the corner. She almost feels like cruiser-esque versus a lot of other battleships. And I love that in knife fighting secondary battleship where you really have the ability to get in and make sharp turns so you can swing out your butt, get your turrets on target, and then get back, bow in between shots. So really liking that. Yeah, what's in the blue containers? The blue is mostly boosters. Yeah, occasionally the patches or that type of stuff. I just, you can get what's called a super container on PC, which is something that usually drops like 50 camos or 50 special flags, or the chance of actually dropping a premium ship. So they're just a lot more exciting on PC to open your regular daily crates, because you never know when you're going to get a super container. And you also can pick from 3 different kinds of crates that have a bias towards either signals and camouflages, which would be kind of booster / camouflages, to credits, or to resources, which we don't have coal and steel. But you have a variety of different daily crates that you can choose from. So maybe one of these days they'll mix it up for us. Alright, what is going on? Everyone is clumped up behind the island behind C. So I feel like I'm just going to keep moving until I get in a spot where I can take advantage of my smoke. And I played like 5 games of Legends in the last week, so it's definitely need to get back in the flow. I was pretty tired of playing, just grinding PC to get my tier 7 Strasbourg, but I did get it. Did finally work through the whole campaign, and it was a lot of work on an account with only 14 ships and only 1 tier 8. I'm probably gonna have to burn smoke. Definitely gonna have to burn smoke. Okay. Do you think our 8 ships that are all clumped together can fire at the 1 destroyer, possibly? Good God. Look at our deployment.
Torpedoes to port.
Uh-oh. This is not an optimal position. I think I'm going to get smoke penalty spotted. Yep. And I don't have torps. And I'm getting torp from the backside. Ugh.
Hold below the waterline.
Gonna have to leave because I know Legal is torping me. I don't know why he just didn't nuke me. Yeah, I know. I know you're doing that, dude. That is no surprise. Fired behind the Benson. Hello. There he is. Oh, like half awake. Hey, I'm back in my smoke for 6 seconds. Okay. Is he gonna peek back out? I guess he is. Should have AP loaded, probably. Oh, he's going backwards. I'm not gonna take my time to change rounds here to AP. I'm just gonna try to get a fire on him. Oh, Lord.
Problem solved, sir.
What ship is the Belfast? Oh, what tier? She's tier 6. Rich, so she's tier 7 on PC, tier 6 here. Now, she's more versatile than some of the other British light cruisers because you do get HE. And she's good destroyer hunter because you get both sonar and you get radar. She has the smoke. The drawback is she has no torpedoes. So like in that close quarters type situation versus the Algerie, I had no defensive. They pushed me and came around the corner and just worked me over with AP straight off without ducking back behind the island. They really had me dead to rights if they just continued around the corner. So yeah, tier 6. She's a great ship. She's one of the first ships I remember ever being pulled from the shop on PC, so you couldn't purchase her anymore because she was too OP. I really enjoy her. Hey, boats. Yeah, the new one is Belfast 46, so she's a higher tier. She's tier 8. She's the configuration, the post-war configuration, so she's a little bit different than the original Belfast, and tier for tier, she's not quite as strong. So it was such a ship in demand that they basically rebalanced it, you know, gave it a different version, put it a slightly higher tier, and they've sold a boatload of them. I've seen them all over the place. Yeah, I'll enjoy the GK. Boats, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought her over. The Belfast 46, because is popular ship. They could do her tier 7 or possibly even legendary tier. Probably a better fit at tier 7 in my mind. Haven't played her personally, but you know, I've played quite a bit of regular Belfast. And Belfast and Kutuzov are kind of, to me, they're a little bit twins, and they're decent range. Obviously, Kutuzov has more range than Belfast and has the torpedoes, but they both have the smoke. They can both kind of operate in open water, which is fun about them. I'm not going to go on the other side of the island because I'm afraid I'm going to get focused over there. There's a Helena. We're way behind those. We need to get into B. Oh, there's a destroyer too. Crap. Probably needed to help. Alright, let's get around the other side of this island and work our way in. We have a lead on ships. Yeah, she's probably not inexpensive. I have not looked at her price on PC, the Belfast 46. I'm assuming she's a $50 plus. And that's the stripped down version, you know, without the extra camo and flag package and all that crap, which they try to sell on a lot of the premiums now, is to load them up with a bunch of extra stuff. Okay, let's use the smoke. We have a ship in front of us that can spot for us. So that's a big consideration with Belfast. Kutuzov Flint is you don't want to smoke up when you can't see your enemies. Personally, you need someone to spot for you, unless you're within radar range, and then you have, you know, a relatively short window of time to illuminate foes with radar. Anna's gonna start creeping forward again. I move a little bit in my smoke. I don't just sit completely still, because people tend to blind fire. between your salvos if they're a better player. Ooh, got a fire. Okay, let's pursue. We're gonna leave the smoke a little early. Maybe get one more salvo in on the Helena. Helena, amazing ship on PC and very fun on Legends. So yeah, as I was saying, mass chaos today watching some of my favorite PC streamers. It's like World of Commander skills. Totally different commander system. They revamped the entire thing. Like root and branch, ripped out the whole thing. Brought over some elements from Legends into the new system that is specialized by type of ship. Instead of like kind of one set of skills that's one size fits all across all types of ships. So, but one of my favorite streamers was just not having it today. He just had a very bad day. He really likes to come out and try to play well. And you watch him because he's a great streamer, a great personality, caring guy, has a great community, but when he's not playing well, he gets bummed, and he just feels like, I've been playing this game for 5 years, and I feel like a beginner. So, I remember feeling that going through the big skill rework on Commanders the last time, which was probably 3 years ago, or maybe a little longer than that. But not long after I started playing, everything changed. And everyone, of course, thought that was the end of the world, too. Just like now a lot of people think the PC changes are the end of the world. When you look at a description of the ship in this game, might say she got many upgrades to her hull and things like that, but the ship you're using will be the ship before they upgraded her hull. Yeah. I take those descriptions with a little bit of a grain of salt, personally. And, you know, they always, when they're trying to sell it like a premium ship, they always talk up, you know, how devastating the guns are and how sturdy they are. And, you know, there are always caveats to that kind of stuff. Okay, this Fuso is going to be spotted. Our smoke is recharged. We're going to help cap the cap here, and we're going to get fire on this Fuso. Ooh. You really should be going quite slow before you smoke up and start firing in a Belfast, because the smoke puff is a lot slower than a destroyer.
Smoke screen set.
I heard how awesome Belfast was when I first got it on PC, and like the first 3 games I played it, I proceeded to run right out of my smoke puff when I smoked up the first time, and I did not play a lot of destroyers at all. Was new to a cruiser with smoke, and got immediately obliterated and put Belfast away for quite a while. Going, oh my god, this OP ship, why am I so horrible at it? Well, you have to learn to slow down to like 3/4 or half speed before you start firing for your smoke to form around you. I still run out of smoke occasionally though. Come on, let's hit that conning tower. The big phallus. Because Tactic, who was on, visited the stream a week and a half ago. We were discussing why do the Japanese battleships have those super tall towers, and it's because they didn't have radar. So the higher up you sat, the longer you could see, which kind of makes sense. Longer distance you could see. Fuso is pretty flammable, which is helping us out right now. Though, you don't really want to set the 3rd fire if they have fight fire with fire, but they put the fires out. Yeah, I needed to leave my smoke that last time, because I would have been sitting back there doing nothing. You know, as I've gotten more time in this game, it's not always about being in the front, but in any type of ship, you just want to keep your guns working. You should be close enough to be contributing, right? And usually, in this type of ship, you're not going to want to be the closest ship to the enemy. You're going to want, hopefully, a destroyer harassing and distracting, or you're going to want a battleship tanking damage and drawing fire away from you when you're driving a cruiser. So you kind of have to pay attention to that when you start opening fire when you're close to a battleship. That, you know, do you have support from the perspective of ships to distract the enemy? And we wound up with the last kill. We'll take it. So I was watching another streamer I really liked today, Sea Raptor, and he and another guy named Lord Zath. Zath actually participated quite a bit in the alpha. I remember some epic duels when it was only IJN and USN, like Miyoko versus Miyoko, me versus Lord Zath, and I killed him a couple times. Which he's a really good player. He's in 07 or Kraken. He's in a very good clan on PC, and he and Sea Raptor do a lot of the work on the World of Warships wiki page. So it was interesting watching Sea Raptor today doing his builds, and he was playing a lot of battleships, and he does not like battleships at all. It's kind of like me, he likes cruisers the best, I think, and plays a lot of DD. But it was interesting watching these guys iterate and go through different skill combinations. You have a month where you can set all your skills and change them around as much as you want. That's a difference too on the PC side. Once you set them, you have to pay gold to reset your commander skills. It's not like Legends where you can switch them around whenever you want. But you get a month to play with these skills before they lock down. So, all right, how did we do? We got a pretty good chunk. Got 530,000 credits. 07 boats is probably the most competitive right now as far as the best teams. They have done really well in the last big tournaments like King of the Sea. They won the Verizon tournament. You podcast guys listen to all the World of Warships PC ones. Yeah, there's a really good player who's also just started streaming recently. He has a boatload of followers and big crowds already, but his name is Potato Quality. He's one of the battleship mains in the top team for 07. I mean, he's good at all kinds of ships, but again, Potato Quality, if you check him out, I could try to do this. Let me see if I can get his name right. It's no space, right? Okay, you've seen him. Yeah. That should be him right there. A shout out to his link. And while I'm here, let's give a shout out to Kennedy too, one of our original and resident Legend streamers who's super fun to watch. So boats, I mean, I don't want to say quarantine is the only reason that I got into doing the streaming thing, but I will say kind of reignited my whole passion for World of Warships. I've been playing a long time. I never quit. I did take kind of a hiatus on the PC side to do a lot of Legends during Alpha, and then started bouncing back and forth. And I play a few other games. Like I play FIFA on console quite a bit. Haven't played it as much this year, but it was just really cool. I hadn't been on Twitch for a long time. Had a Twitch account for like 3 years, but I had no idea how built up the communities were. So around World of Warships. So seeing You've Been Wiped Out, Cody, seeing Kennedy, seeing, you know, Cerebrus and Froggy and some of the other folks streaming Legends, and then I know some of these guys that are streaming PC from their work on YouTube, like Notzer, who's a great one as well. Again, Lord Zath, Sea Raptor, and then there's this whole new group of guys that I've started following that really weren't YouTubers or big on the wiki or the forums. They just came about starting on Twitch. So it's been really fun watching them. Yeah, and Dark, I watch Dark a lot as well, as much as I can. So it's neat. And then obviously some of these guys like T-Bull and Spartan and, you know, Hivehound, like this is right now going out live to YouTube and to Twitch. So I have not taken a Twitch affiliate contract because I can keep streaming simultaneously to YouTube at once. And I am making videos and stuff. I just don't have a lot of time in the last couple of weeks to put anything new out. But all of your content can live forever on YouTube. It rolls off on the Twitch side. And you can post videos and stuff, obviously, to YouTube that you're not going to post onto Twitch directly. So It's really just the home for your streams. So that's what's really neat, is that there's a really good community of Warships players on YouTube as well as on Twitch. So that's what got me just super jazzed and excited to get back into doing this more seriously and put more time into it. And I've had a lot of fun with streaming, and I don't profess to be the best player by any stretch, but I know enough about the game to be dangerous. I'm passionate about everything I do. I'm old enough to not be salty about every little thing anymore, but I'm still as competitive as anybody that you'll play with as far as wanting to win. I really, really hate to lose at literally anything, which is why I don't play a lot of board games with my family and stuff, because I'm just not the best sport when I lose. I'll admit it straight out. So I'm getting better. Now that I'm half century old, I should be getting better than I am, but let's take out Atlanta, see what we can do. Being off the aimer on Legends and the controller for a week, jumping back into Atlanta or Helena is not as easy as riding the bike of some of the other ships that have flatter gun angles. Belfast is pretty easy to aim. That's one nice thing about her, is the gun versatility. She's just pretty easy to aim, decent range, 15-ish, not the best, but not terrible. And then having the HE and AP makes her, again, more versatile than some of the other British light cruisers for sure, gunnery-wise. But I love Atlanta. I've played more games in Atlanta than any ship by far. I think she's the best credit-earning ship, tier for tier in the game that I've played with so far. And when you have a rocking Atlanta game, it's just really satisfying. You know you're generating a lot of salt in the battleship players, especially, and some of the destroyer players that you're countering. But I'm going to put out a YouTube video pretty soon about using island cover, and Atlanta will be featured in that. And it's asymmetrical warfare, right? It's taking this little ship with a high rate of fire and a high psychological impact and getting into a good position. And I've had games where I've been able to burn down like 3 battleships in a row that are a tier or 2 higher than this ship. Well, a tier higher. Or just make an entire flank of battleships, and sometimes cruisers just turn and leave the cap and go back the other direction. So that's the one thing I love about Atlanta once you get used to her. She has asymmetrical capability. Archer, you completed your auto buying mission or not? Or should I ask? Auto buying like diamonds can be a stressful experience. But easier today in the early. Get to see the invoice using the Costco auto buying program. And I don't, their HP. I mean, it's price. The fire setting capability is good, and it's this high gun angle that's the thing, right? You can fire over all kinds of stuff and drop shells on ships parked directly behind islands. I'm getting spotted from the other cap, unfortunately. So we'll mosey up here, and we can still shoot over even this island that's real close to us. Shouldn't we get too close now? You know, ship for ship, she does not have a lot of hit points. Even for a cruiser, she's low hit points, and she's basically the size of a destroyer, but her detectability is crappy. So Atlanta can be spotted from a long ways away, even when she's not firing. And that's basically just to keep it balanced, because if you were super stealthy, it wouldn't be really fair in this ship. Okay. We're going to get in a spot where we can actually hit something. I try to be patient, not run out into open water too quickly. So everyone loves to kill the Atlantas. Just gonna keep this positioning where we can kind of cover 2 caps. Hopefully our team's smart enough to let them come into the caps rather than to chase and push too far. The one other disadvantage of Atlanta is that she's a little bigger than a destroyer. Again, the detection is pretty crummy, and she has a citadel. So, you know, destroyers don't have a citadel, so they're going to get overpenned a ton. Atlanta will get overpenned quite a bit, which helps your survival, but you do have a citadel, and when it gets hit, it hurts. Okay, so what's going on is the Lenin. Okay, the Lenin's going to try to push now, so this is where we've hopefully been patient enough to let them start to push in. And we lost detection. Good grief, come on. It's this island bug where your shots go over the island, they hit the enemy ship, but they don't actually do any damage. Okay, the lemons and smoke. Stays there. He's gonna fire on us. Let's hope he just overpens us. He's going back into smoke, so I'm kind of not really getting behind the rock because I know he's gonna lose some detection on me. We're just breaking a lot of shells. Lenin must have decent superstructure armor. Okay, that's not really working too well, is it? Yeah, we have landed 52 rounds, but a lot of those broke. So let's switch it up. We have a broadside Bismarck. Should be. Oh my goodness. Hello. I did not see that ship. Not see the Richelieu. He saw me. He's gonna ram our teammate. I guess he will, because the Iowa is higher health. Let's see if we can get torpedoes on the Richelieu. If he doesn't ram. He's gonna shoot me. Don't shoot me, dude. And that's the one nice thing about Atlanta is it does have torpedoes for emergency use. Akazuki, that smoke's not going to help you, sir. Ugh. Taking some fire damage. Okay, I can't really push back because this Akazuki has definitely torped this position. So I've got to be very careful here. See if I can cut the angle. Get out of the path of travel of those torpedoes. I don't know if the Akazuki will push me or not. That is the question. Let's get some shots on Jervis before they're prepared for it. Akazuki is back behind the rock a little bit now, so let's go to work on the Massachusetts for a minute. Yeah, I don't know. They might have been teed on the Iowa. The secondary's crap. I don't know why I'm backing up. Scoot, scoot, scoot. I do have the acceleration module, but Atlanta's a little bit sluggish. Yeah, the secondary, especially the HE, will do nasty things to our special purpose, for sure. It's my buddy the Akazuki. Come on, get him. Is he backing up? Maybe. It's hard to tell. Put one behind him and one in front. Seems like an aiming bug. Massachusetts got wrecked by somebody. Team kind of lost its mojo. That Lennon is still nearly full health. Well, one shot for that Atago, so I'm gonna have to try to take cover. A Krispy Kreme. How cute if he's referring to the Krasny Kreme, which is affectionately known as the Krispy Kreme. It's okay, we probably didn't want to go forward anyway. We have no one to spot for us. But who is spotting me? It's the Atago. It's radar. Maybe it's DD. No, probably dead. By all rights, we should be dead. Might be able to drop a few more rounds onto the Lenin using the radar. He's actually outside of radar range, so we must have a teammate spotting him. Run away! Burn, Wallet Warrior, burn! Alright. So that was a pretty mediocre Atlanta game. But we got a kill, got 41,000 damage, so it'll still be good credit earnings, even though it's half or less of the damage of a really good Atlanta game. May not win this one. You are correct. Well, technically, they don't have B all the way yet. Look at that. Don't have B. Alright, let's bump out of this game. Resistance is futile at this point. Is that what they say in your Star Trek game, Rich? Is it a Borg? Are the Borg around? I did like the Borg storyline a lot. Alright, let's stick to some ships with better earnings potential, our premiums. Maybe could run a battleship. And then we'll come back maybe and run Atlanta after. Go triple credits. I know we're not going to be where we need to be. So we'll come back. We'll play a slow ship and then come back to Atlanta. Yeah, looking at Willis. What you talking about, Willis Lee? For all you Different Strokes fans. So I could see people using him for Massachusetts with Porcupine. And then what? There's also Properly Meticulous. So you have a couple secondary battery options. I don't know what I'm running. I'm running AP shell penetration multiplier and normalization angle improvement. So both my inspirations are main battery enhancing, and then again you can use your other skills if you reconfigure them for secondaries. So I think Willis could be a good choice for Massachusetts. Yes, the Borg resistance is futile. So we're good storylines when Picard got assimilated. The Borg in my daily life is Amazon. Since I own a retail business, I just refer to Amazon as the Borg because Bezos wants to assimilate everybody and everything. Between him and Elon, they're doing a pretty damn good job. I think Elon has caught up to Jeffrey in his billionaire calculation. I think they're now dueling with one another on many fronts, including the money front. Alright, well, I'd like to have had Atlanta on this map. Alright. I'm going to resist my urge to drive too far forward. Yeah, I saw that, so you gotta... That's awesome. Outbacks are good cars, man. They're safe. They're pretty good cargo volume. Handling is good. And you obviously live in the weather like we do. Well, we used to have weather. Not so much the last few years. This winter's been stupid warm. All we're getting is rain right now. Yes, Lucretius, a Borg. And 7 of 9, I know she was popular for some reason.
All forces, capture that area.
Might have been something to do with very tight jumpsuit. Jerry Ryan? Okay, Mr. Vanguard. Alright, I'm gonna kind of hang a little bit in this gap. I know if I get too far forward here, I give broadside to the middle. That's my sin on this map. I push too far forward. And it's a legendary tier, which I didn't check. Let's actually get a shot on the Vanguard instead, who's giving us juicy broadside. The Yamato is not. So let's retreat a little bit. Give a little more difficult of an angle to the Yamato. The Vanguard got whooped. We only hit him for 1,300, but Neighbor got him hard, which is great. Ooh, Yamato might take some torpedoes.
All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
On the borderline of using a heal. So there's 2 people who shot at us and have not been reading the smoke or our wake. So if we're backing up, we're not going to show a bow wake, right? And our smoke's going to be going backwards out of our smokestacks towards the front of the ship. PC, there's actually a mod you can use that shows different lights to tell you whether a ship is going forward or backwards. Personally, I don't use it, but it's a sanctioned mod. It's not a cheat, but since we don't have that on Legends, look at the smoke and the wake. Yeah, the Outback has been consistently super high rated. I mean, it's not a Porsche, right? It is a utility vehicle, but for those of us that live in mountainous regions, as Archer does and I do, The handling of those cars is really, really good. They're very versatile. Again, it's not a giant SUV. It drives pretty much like a car, but you can still get quite a bit of stuff into the car, which I've always had at least one hatchback or little wagon or SUV because I like being able to put stuff in my car. Now I have the fat side. I have the Ford Expedition, so the recent one, which is a lot bigger. I can carry a lot more stuff, including my big dog. Yep, I am. It is a legendary game. Let's see if we can catch this Yamato showing us broadside again. I'm going to fire and then immediately get bow in. So I'm giving too much side right now. Let's throw the plane up. The plane.
Fighter airborne.
Waited till they showed a little bit more side. It's got a chance. Alright, not terrible. Push a little bit in on the B cap. Gotta watch for this Fletcher. Can't quite reach. Oh. Somebody shooting that Yamato that has very few hit points. Okay, we're gonna throw the brakes on. Let's take a shot at the Fletcher. Oh, nice. So we could probably push the Yamato a little bit, but we're gonna be given broadside to the Vlad if we go too far. So we're gonna need to bow in to the Vladivostok. And the Yamato's traveling in that direction too, so... what legendary ships are on my team? Let's see, we have 2 Yamis and a Kurfürst and a Worcester and a Gearing. There's a lot of legendary tier ships in this battle. They have a Worcester, a Yamato, 2 Yamatos, and a Kurfürst. I think we're going to start seeing legendary tier games maybe start getting fleshed out more fully with the release of the... Oh, holy crap in a bag. Not good. Someone help me with the Udachi. Steer straight at him. Hopefully minimize the number of torpedoes we take. We'll live with 2.
Hold below the waterline. We're flooding quickly.
That could have been a lot worse. Just like to kind of estimate when the destroyer is firing its torpedoes. And we get the kill. There's Godzilla for the Japanese battleship. So just really trying to predict when they're showing you that flat side, when you think they're firing their torpedoes, and just trying to steer straight into that spread of torpedoes.
Capture that area.
Again, taking 2 in that case wasn't so bad. Worcester does not have torpedoes, so we can feel a little comfortable pushing them. Getting broadside on the Vladivostok. You shouldn't have the best side armor in the world. Ooh, 2 Citadels. Stay bow into him. Yeah, he's bringing his guns to bear on us. So you like the Kurfürst, Rich? I mean, I just recently unlocked the Kurfürst on PC. Hey, Cheese, thank you so much for the follow. Really, really appreciate it. Every follow matters around here. This is not my full-time job. It's just something I like to do. Really appreciate any and all of you who are spending time on this channel. It's been a lot of fun, and don't take for granted that you're spending some time here with us. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Okay, we're going to try to eliminate the cruisers first. Ooh, we definitely want to kill a Kutuzov if we can. And a Worcester. Yeah, so I just unlocked the Kurfürst on PC a couple months ago. Have not played it a ton yet. Like it a lot better already than the Frederick de Grossa, which is a tier 9. Come on, secondaries. Someone kill that ship. Thank you. Now we want to kill the Kutuzov. I'll always preferentially try to take the cruisers out first just because they're going to be able to burn us down, right? Oh, thanks, Chief. Chiefs, yeah, I've been playing for 4 years. I was an alpha tester on Legend, so I just really enjoy helping people get as excited about the game as I have been for, honestly, for 4 years. I started on World of Tanks. I played that for a good 2.5, going on 3 years before I got into Warships, and I kind of rapidly started converting over to being a ships player and not playing a lot of tanks, really not any at all anymore. But you know, there's so much to learn in these games that any bit of help we can give new players and pass on kind of the amount of knowledge that you accumulate on how to be successful is valuable. And streaming was not a thing when I started playing. It was just reading forum posts for World of Tanks. That's where we went. Discord was not a thing. Everyone used TeamSpeak, not Discord. And the forum pages were where it was at, and you had a lot of people who were really helpful, and you had a lot of people who were just trolls if you asked any basic questions. So this is a safe place to ask any and all questions that you have about the game. No judgment, no salt. I don't profess to be the world's best player, but I'm a capable player, I think. So if someone comes in and tells me that I'm not as good as them, I don't really care. I just enjoy playing. Ships is more strategic, in your opinion, came over from tanks as well. Yeah, there's something to me about the slower pace of the game, which at first I was kind of like, when this was in alpha or betas, when I first started playing ships on PC, and in the very beginning, it was really, really, really slow. They hadn't tuned the game. It was brand new. It was just the Japanese and American navies, the same way that we started here on Legends during the alpha. And I got into like 4 or 5 games in the beginning where it was like 5 minutes at the end just trying to find the last ship. And I'm like, this is too slow versus tanks. I'm just not used to this. So I did not play in the beta, came back about a year after Warships released, and things had been ironed out, got into playing it, and again just started sucking all my time over to ships from tanks. And I think the difference in pace, at first it was just weird. You know, it was almost like, wow, I have too much time to think between these 30-second battleship salvos, which is what I played primarily in the beginning, cruisers and then battleships. But I really started to appreciate that there's thinking multiple moves ahead in this game that you really didn't have the chance to do that in tanks, especially if you're playing a medium tank or a scout tank where you're really just running around shooting at stuff, doing the circling fire stuff, which was so unrealistic, but you had to get good at it, you know. So not that I don't appreciate aspects of tanks, I do, but I really enjoy the play of ships and how it's layered. There's tactics to it, there's strategy. There is mechanics to learn, like in tanks, on spotting and where to shoot stuff. Not as important here, but still important. You know, and any ship can damage any other ship using HE. You don't have to use gold rounds. Lowest tier cruiser can damage a higher tier battleship if you shoot it in the right place with HE. So less frustrating to me than tanks was, for sure. To answer your question, you like the GK and Yamato. Quickly become your favorite high tier ships. Probably other than that, probably the Bismarck. That may change when you take out the Massachusetts. Yeah. If you like Bismarck and you like Tirpitz, I think Massachusetts is going to be a good bridge for you to the U.S. line. Though, if you try to start from the ground up in U.S. battleships, you'll find them to be really slow and clunky. Basically all the way through Colorado until you get to Iowa, which is really long and weak sides, but fast. You can get into trouble easy with Iowa. I actually prefer Alabama, and I prefer Massachusetts to Iowa. The Montana on PC is good. She's like kind of like super Iowa, but oh, you got it. Yeah, Archer, I figured you were probably pretty close. Oh, you had to get rid of your motorcycle. Ugh, that's okay. Hey, less chance of a catastrophic head injury, dude. I don't know. I'm getting old. I put more risk reward into everything these days. I wanted to be a pilot forever, and I'm like, I just don't know if I'm ever going to be a pilot. I'm probably not going to own a motorcycle, and I wear a helmet while I ski, which I never did when I was a kid or a young person. So, last tank you played on World Tanks was the Churchill 7. Yeah, which is like a tier 6 ship. The Churchill, man, that line in World of Tanks is what the lower caliber gun that fires faster, but you have to use gold rounds like that, and the Black Prince. Oh my gosh. It's not really good experience. I mean, they work, but it's not a great experience until you get to like the Conqueror. That's a pretty good tank. I think that's tier 9, right? That's where I'm at. That's where I left off in World of Tanks on the US or the British line was Conqueror. And I did not play the medium line. Didn't play like the Centurions. Didn't play past like the middle tiers. All right, we did all right in that battle. We got 108,000. We were 4th. Let's just check. I got to review where we are on credits. Okay, we're at 1.3 million. So I'm going to jump back to Atlanta. Because as much as I like Alabama's battleships go, she does not earn as well as in Atlanta, in my opinion. Let's see if we can get a decent game going. Well, it's good you always wear a helmet. Here in Idaho, where I live, helmets are not required. And it's kind of crazy. Oh, geez, so I'm colorblind, so I have red-green colorblind issue. So I can actually tell the team icons apart, no problem. They did a better job, like in the old days of World of Tanks, before colorblind mode on console, and then I started playing PC too. The team icons were red and green, so they were super hard for me to tell apart. So once they came out with colorblind mode, I've been playing that ever since. And they did a good job of separating the team colors on console ships, but I can't tell like the islands, like the greener parts of the islands from the ship icons on the enemy team. Or sorry, the red and green blend together. So that's primarily why I'm using is for the contrast of the ships versus the background. Yeah. Wait till you see like the Tears of the Desert map. That's what You've Been Wiped Out Cody makes fun of me because he calls it the mustard map because it is mustard yellow. That desert color winds up being really mustardy. So yeah, I had wanted to go to the Naval Academy and fly carrier planes, carrier fighters when I was a kid, and had a congressional nomination, went through the whole interview process and all that to go to Annapolis, but I wound up being colorblind and not 20/20 vision. And the color blindness is not a correctable thing if you want to fly. So basically decided to do a different path.
I owe you one.
Yes, yellow, the right hand grouping, right? Blue is good. Is that, I don't know if you guys see it as blue, but my team looks blue to me, bluish, purplish. I hesitate to say what colors people are. I see things as, what are you talking about? When I was a kid, I used to wear, I think, some ghastly color combinations, and my mom couldn't figure it out. Back then, we all wore really high socks with colored stripes on the tops of the socks. And I think my mom figured out I was colorblind with some of the crazy color combinations that I'd come up with. Sure enough, when I took those damn dot tests that you guys see like 2 numbers, the 33, I only see just 1 3 because the other 3's in the middle of the dots that blend in together. Hey, there we go. Some long distance destroyer hits. So yeah, those dot tests drive me insane. Oh, collision alert. Ooh, look at that. Turny Atlanta, but doesn't stop and start very well. Yes. If I'm on the Discord or the forum boards, I always say, you know, shoot the red ships. But my little secret is none of it is red for me. Hopefully the rest of the game isn't too whacked out for you guys. Besides the switch in colors, the red and the yellow. I know the menus are also different in port. Okay, we're really having to shade to A, B because there's so many ships on this side. I could take this central position, but I'm afraid I'd be spotted. We're going into C. Maybe I can take that spot. This is the crappy thing, is that Atlanta's range is not the greatest. We know the Asasha. Oh, he's dead. Is he dead? He's dead, and that was the only DD. So maybe we can push into this position and be relatively safe. I'm not sure that this Iowa isn't AFK. That is just backing up. Nope, he's alive, but just doing that amazing reversing Iowa thing. The alpha test of this game was just a bunch of Iowas going backwards the entire game, every game. Okay. We found a sweet spot. Looks like we're not detected right now. Hopefully we can get ships pushing into the middle here and take advantage of that without having to leave our cover. Ah, who's spotting me now? Am I getting spotted from C, possibly? Thing is, everybody wants to shoot the Atlanta. So just get close to the island and make it harder for them to hit us. We can still fire over the island. Yeah, I know that the no team damage. Totally right, Rich. I mean, I have to remember sometimes. I don't usually make that mistake, but every once in a while I've like let some torpedoes loose and then gone, oh my god, I'm not playing Legends right now. Especially when I'm in a DD. And then you know what happens when you damage enemy ships extensively, right? Or teammate ships extensively, right? You get a certain kind of penalty. So everybody knows that you're a team killer. They turn your ship pink. And the number of games that you're pink is based on the severity of your transgression. Okay, we're taking a little bit of risk here because we see the Odin being preoccupied with a ship in front of them. It's the ships off to my right that I'm worried about. Might start firing on me soon. Oh god, this Roma is close by. He's not even paying any attention to me. Probably should just keep firing at the Odin. Not poke the bear, but it's kind of too late. Come on. Okay, we lost detection. Oh god. He's not gonna. We're out of range. Oh no. Put this island here. And that's what happens when you get hit by AP in Atlanta lengthwise. It's actually a lot worse than getting hit sideways. Are we gonna get a torpid? Oh, we are. Damn it. Damn island. Hey, we got the belated kill. Take that. That'll help with credits. That's totally my fault. I should have started that turn a little earlier. And I should have checked my shoulder quicker. But I will say it. I say it almost every time I play. The thing that I am worst at in Legends is looking around. It is so much easier in PC. All you do is hold down your right mouse button, and you can look around in 360 degrees by just moving your mouse when you hold down your right button. It's so easy to zoom out and see where you're at. It's a lot more difficult, and you can't zoom out as much on Legends. And I get lazy, and I don't look around enough, and that's when I run into an island like that, and my game ends a lot quicker than it should as a cruiser player. So how long do you stay pink? So if you torpedo, it depends whether you damage a ship extensively. It depends on how early in the game. And if it's like in your cap, you can get a really long penalty, like 50 odd games, I think. If it's more accidental, like you accidentally hit someone with a round and you did very little damage, but you killed them from, 15 kilometers away. They were close to an enemy ship, the friendly that you killed. You'll only get like maybe 10 games, or sometimes even less than that, 5 to 10 games of penalty. But if you do a lot of damage to a friendly ship, if you shoot at a friendly ship in your cap, again, you can get like 20, 30, I think 40 game penalty where you're pink. And it's hilarious. Some games, literally, you roll out and you're 4 pink ships out of 12. I always make a joke. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month because of the pink ribbons, but it is a little bit of an indicator of how good your teammates are. If you've got like 4 teammates that are all pink, so it can be a predictive factor as to how well your game is going to go. Just put it that way. When is friendly fire on? Yeah, we don't have friendly fire on at all on console, Chief. So it wasn't never on console tanks. It's never on console ships. It used to be on PC tanks, but I think the last time I played, I accidentally shot a friendly tank, and I think it's turned off. But friendly fire is still on in PC ships. So destroyer players can be a little lazy, and cruiser players with their torpedoes and get away with it on Legends, because you can spam your torpedoes into a brawl and you're not going to hurt your own teammates. But on PC, you have to be really careful. Like if there's a scrum going on and you shoot your torpedoes into that scrum and you accidentally hit your teammates, it does full damage. And again, you get this penalty of turning color. It's not like I think you can get your account suspended. Maybe if you're egregious and people like write it up and report you verbally through tickets, I think you can get into more trouble. But yeah, it is a definite thing on PC. So you have to be more careful. Or even if ships are close to one another from a distance and you're using your main battery guns, you have to be careful of what you're shooting at if they're close together, because you can, just by dispersion, wind up hitting your teammate. And again, sometimes your teammate barely has any life left and you hit him with one shell and kill him. And then you get this like 6 or 7 or 8 game penalty of being pink, even though you maybe only hit your friendly ship for 200 hit points of damage, but you killed them. You immediately get a penalty for that. You get a little bit of a grace amount of damage if you just rub up to someone. You do a little bit of damage when you rub ships, and if you hit them and you're not doing it in your cap and it's not a ton of damage and it doesn't kill them, you won't immediately get a penalty of turning pink. But yeah, it scales up. All right, well, we got 327,000 credits. Again, that's not the game we wanted. It was a win. Let's go one more. Actually, let's try one more in Atlanta, and we'll move on to other things. So that is a point of contention about, you know, whose fault it is when they get hit. My point of view is if you fire those torpedoes or if you fire those shells, you're responsible for them. So when you have friendlies around you on PC, you're literally calculating what's my main battery distance in range and what is my torpedo range. And if I fire them, can these friendly ships get into that firing arc? So I am of the mind that if I fire it, it's my responsibility if I hit the teammate. Even though the teammate, like you'll hear a lot, well, he wasn't going that direction. He turned into my torpedoes. Well, maybe he had to turn because he was avoiding going broadside to a battleship, and he had to turn where you fired your torpedoes to bow in or something like that. So that's always a big debate on whose fault it is. And I'm kind of the mind personally that if I fire it, it's my responsibility. So if I hit a friendly and do damage, I will own it. I'll apologize in chat. And it's very rare that I go pink. Very, very rare. But it's funny, if you play AI mode, like the bots will get crazy with their torpedoes sometimes. Sometimes your own bots will torp you, and it's pretty fun. I mean, it adds a layer of realism to it that does not exist, you know, in 3 of the 4 games now, where you can't do team damage. But it got pretty bad. It got pretty trolly in tanks on PC. I think that's why they eventually turned it off. You get people who just troll you the whole game, like, and just knock your track off over and over when you were exposed to enemy fire, and not fun. Yeah, I just kind of feel like if I fire that torpedo, if I fire that gun, I need to be responsible for understanding where my teammates are. So, okay, we're going kind of aggressive here. What is the tier of this game? I should be checking. Tier 6, so we're high tier this time, but okay, we're definitely in advanced position. If we get pushed here, I do have the benefit of torpedoes in Atlanta, so I can torpedo things pushing around islands. But, you know, we're up here to support this DD in this case. Really just going to try to work concealment. So the midpoint of the ship is where you are detected. So as long as no more than half of your ship is sticking out, you won't be detected. But I think it's at the top point of the mast, or the top highest point of the middle of the ship. So if you got a really low piece of an island like this, then if you pull out a little more than halfway, I believe you will get spotted. So we can probably use this destroyer smoke. This is the fun of kind of visualizing where is that Fuso based on his icon. If we look at the mini-map, he's kind of, we want to see where he's facing. He's kind of headed a little bit away. This is where we just kind of, based on experience, try to guesstimate where he's at. Sometimes you can pop your view up, estimate, drop back down. Okay, he's headed in towards us. So we're just going to keep backing around the island. Ooh, first blood.
Looks like we've got one, but is it the one we want?
Okay. Oh, crap. This happens when you get zoned in on one side of the map. Stuff happening when you're in the middle on both sides. Which, Chiefs, that's, you know, the other part of this game. Like, tanks, you'd have to keep track of multiple targets at one time, but ships kind of ups the ante on that, you know? Sometimes you're engaged in a full 180-degree battle with 2 or 3 enemies, and that element, again, is a big strategic piece of this game, or tactical piece of this game. It's not all about skill. There's a lot of situational awareness. You know, again, we're just gonna try to drop shells on the knives now, if we can. That was successful. Tunnel vision is the deal. Yeah, and that's why, like, a newer player is probably like, why is he popping out a binocular view, like, between every shot? Because I'm trying to check my shoulder, look around. And again, it's easier to do it in PC, so it's even more frantic looking.